What is going on, everybody? 'Tis I, the enigma of the gun airwaves, Miyanovich, welcoming you to Season 3 of the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast, where unprecedented perspectives are packed into the cargo hold for the LGO Lens spaceship Voyagio.
That's fucking Italian.
Don't believe that evolution is possible with guns and public safety in America? It's already happening, y'all. Minds are evolving. Think guns versus public safety is the only game in town, do ya? Think culture war is the big boss, do ya? Then keep your ass in the past. Everyone else, all aboard! Today's talk is about pseudo-Christianity, pseudo-conservatism. It's about pseudo-conservatism and Bush League conversion theory. What you're seeing is the result of many things, but a major input into Trump being in the White House is a vastly powerful cult of pseudo-conservatism. Yes, first and foremost, it isn't conservatism. Secondly, it isn't Christianity. I can't express enough how important it is for everyone listening to understand the importance of January 6th, and how I have heard people, even in my own camp, or friends that I have that aren't quite liberal, or exactly liberal, try to sweep that under the rug as if that's just Trump's part in that, or the way that people reacted to that on the conservative side, the political side, if that is that January 6th is somehow akin to things like, oh fuck, Clinton getting a blowjob in the White House, or JFK banging some chick in the kitchen of the White House, or Watergate, or something like that. Like, politicians do fucked up things. That's just normal. There is nothing, absolutely nothing normal about January 6th and how our society and our political reality and our electorate handled that. There's nothing normal about it. And it is not anywhere near the same level of stuff that has been done by politicians and the political reality in the past. It is the alarm of all alarms. And this is why you can't be a fucking jabroni. And this is why you need to know the difference between pseudo-liberalism and liberalism. But you also need to know the difference between pseudo-conservatism and conservatism. And this is why is infinitely more powerful if conservatives put Trump in check or shut his clown show down. It's infinitely more powerful and infinitely more effective than liberals attempting to do so. You might say, well, they're all tribal at this point. No one gives a fuck, and it's never going to happen. You might be right. But if you're playing the social coercion chess, that's not really a wise chess master's take. You need to consider that is an open opportunity, and that there are pseudo-conservatives and there are actual conservatives. There are pseudo-Christians and there are actual Christians. And right now, whether people realize it or not, in the social accounting book, in the moral accounting book, and in the spiritual divine accounting book, if you believe in such a thing, everything is getting marked down and tallied. And what is the best place to start to measure from if you are going to need to make a point about that with conservatives or moderates or libertarians? January 6th. There is no sweeping that under the rug legitimately. And Trump being in office while that happened, and the way that that's being treated, is the most egregious expression of anti-conservatism. It is the most important expression of hypocritical conservatism that I have seen in my lifetime. It is profound. It is a profound example of pseudo-conservatism. It's a profound example of it. There's no sweeping it under the rug. It is pseudo-conservative. Going along with what's happening, it is the marker for things being officially pseudo-conservative and, more importantly, pseudo-Christian. But many of you are saying, well, Randy, I already know that. We already know that. Duh. Go deeper with it. Go deeper with it. One of the most important things that you can do is caucus with moderates and conservatives who know deep down what I'm saying. They know there are actually good Christians and good conservatives out there. Good as in reasonable. Their contributions to other bigotries and shit that they don't seem to think exist, well, you're just going to have to forget that for now. This is why you can't be all or nothing. All of that stuff, all of the negatives associated with sweeping January 6th under the rug as if it's nothing, which is basically what society just did or is trying to do, is putting tallies in the social coercion book, in the social justice book, in the regular history books, in the book of quote unquote God, in the spiritual accounting. It's all going in there. And here's the thing. There are conservatives and Christians that can feel that, and they're conflicted. The idea that they're just, all of the conservatives just go along with it and they forget it, and they, for the sake of the team, they just drink the Kool-Aid. It's true for most of them, but not for all of them. And this is enormously important. It's enormously important. There is a difference between a conservative and a pseudo-conservative. And there's a difference between a Christian and a pseudo-Christian. And if you are tribal and you are liberal and you are like, fuck it, they're all fucked, fuck all of them, us versus them, this is why you're a jabroni. This is why in the social coercion game, you're playing checkers, right? Sorry, that's a cliche analogy, but you're playing checkers. Trump being assassinated, worst possible outcome for proper social coercion here. You shitting on all conservatives and you shitting on all Christians, worst possible thing. Because one of the best outcomes is being able to remind real conservatives and real Christians that this is pseudo-Christianity. It's pseudo-conservatism. And in the book of history and in the book of quote unquote God, this is their worldview, not mine. Mind you, I'm using their words. This is all being tallied up. For sure it is. For sure it is. January 6th, pseudo-conservatism, pseudo-Christianity. Start thinking about these concepts. Bush League conversion theory. Many forms of fascistic thinking, tribal fascistic thinking. There's so many terms. I don't really like to pin myself down to them. But the tribal thinking that sets very narrow parameters for being included in the group, combined with a high disgust trait for people that don't have those attributes. This is what's underneath a lot of conservatism and a lot of Christianity, and high levels of non-inclusivity, disclusiveness. When Christians are in a mission to bring everybody to the Lord, that's quite an important thing to understand. It's also important to understand the conservative mission of people being brought into the light in terms of conservatism. And it's really often hard to tease those two things apart because in most cases they're together. So that's interesting because most people are actually in a pseudo state of conservatism or a pseudo state of Christianity. They're not in actual Christianity. They're not in actual conservatism. So when their mission is to pull you into the circle, what you have is a Bush League level, a jabroni level mission of conversion, right? They believe they're bringing you into the arms and the bosom of quote unquote their Lord, but what they're really bringing you into is bullshit. Many of you are like, again, well, no shit, Randy. Many of you are like, all religion's bullshit, all conservatism's bullshit. Again, with these absolutist views, you're just a lesser chess player. So Bush League conversion theory, very important. When you're dealing with anyone whose goal is to make your life better or help you to put your life the way that it should be by introducing you to unseen forces, a religion and saviors and so on and so forth. There is the whole this whole concept that the majority of it that goes on in Christianity is take it or leave it mentality. Like the people aren't going to force you and they'll bring you into the fold if you want to, but it's not preloaded with expectations and projections and so on and so forth. And that is almost entirely fucking bullshit. So this is why it's important to at least be able to understand human psychology, 101 human psychology. Look, one of the most important concepts that you can understand is that you do not have to know that you're doing something. You do not have to be aware that you're doing something to be doing it on purpose. That's not the way that the human brain works. You simply can't possess all of the things that you directly want to try to do inside of your conscious focus. A lot of those things have to exist as vectors and desires inside of your unconscious, your subconscious mind. So a lot of the things that you're trying to do on purpose aren't in the view of your conscious mind where you're specifically choosing to enact something, right? That's a jabroni level understanding of how the mind works. The mind does not work like that. The vast majority of the things that you do on purpose, you aren't even recognizing that you're doing them on purpose. You can have a habit of doing something on purpose over and over and over again. And then you don't have, and then it goes into the warehouse of your unconscious. And then you don't have to quote unquote do it on purpose anymore because it just happens automatically, but it's still you doing it on purpose. You've established that you're doing something on purpose for years. And then it just becomes something that you don't think about. So you don't have to be doing something on purpose to be doing something on purpose. And when you see a vast, unconscious, cult-like behavior like you do with MAGA, you're seeing the vast majority of what you're seeing is unconscious, subconscious behaviors, the effect of them. Even though there's a lot of conscientious, purposefully decided behaviors going on. The vast majority of the phenomenon is unconscious and subconscious, and this is thousands of years at the minimum. This is thousands of years of input into this. So if you're wondering sometimes, like, how does this shit happen? Well, you have 2,000 years of pseudo-Christianity. You have hundreds of thousands of years of this kind of a behavior inside of the tribal reality already. Then you have 2,000 more years of pseudo-Christianity, and you have, centuries of different versions of conservatism, pseudo-conservatism, and you have all kinds of incredibly twisted social coercion and social activity, which we can certainly trace back to the Romans and the Greeks. You're seeing a phenomenon. If it doesn't cotton to you and it doesn't make any sense, if it looks fucked up, which it should not be a surprise, right? This should not fully be a surprise to you. This is the kind of hocus pocus bullshit that both religion and politics can bring. There's a certain brand of hocus pocus that only religion and the religious part of the human mind can produce. And so when you look at it, if you're more of a rationalist and you're looking at this and you're going, holy fuck, then this can be what happens with the religious part of the human brain. When you have a worldview like you have with conservatism and Christianity, there's a tradition with these things, and the parameters of acceptable behavior are quite narrow, generally speaking, and you need to fit those parameters. And when you combine that with a mission, because both Christianity and conservatism have a mission, and again, it's hard to tease them apart, but everything you need to know is in the fact that they're driven by a mission. Their mission is to convert or get the fuck out, or destroy. Also, get the fuck out of the way is within their mission. Convert or get the fuck out of the way. See history for various examples of how that's been handled by various cultures and various religions. Convert or we'll fucking roll straight over you. Particularly potent in Western Christianity. Particularly potent. Still here right now. In the very engine of mission, religious mission, political mission, conservative mission, there is the drive to convert. There's the drive to convert. And the major message there has a tendency to be like, we just want to embrace, we want everyone to just come in, and I want you to feel what I feel when I feel the arms of the Lord around me. Or we just want everybody to be successful. We just want people to have freedom and be successful. This is part of the unconscious Bush League bullshit conversion theory that they have. When somebody has a mission and somebody wants to convert you, they can't have those feelings unless you are in the wrong place and they are in the right place. Those things can't exist. If somebody has a mission and they desire to convert you, you are in the wrong place and they are in the right place. And if you combine that with the forces of actual social coercion, this is the root of why certainly pseudo-Christianity and pseudo-conservatism are particularly dangerous. High disgust trait, actual lack of inclusivity, narrow set of acceptable behaviors, a worldview that combines various conflicting elements at this point between highly moral religious thought, quote unquote, and the creeds of financial success, mission, conversion, get the fuck out of the way. Convert or get the fuck out of the way. Why I call it Bush League conversion theory is because these people are, I'm not going to apologize for it, but this is one of the reasons why I bring the word back. I use it for comedy, but I also brought it back on purpose. These people are legitimately retarded. They are legitimately retarded. Not Down syndrome. I'm not calling people with Down syndrome retarded. I'm calling these people retarded. Look the fucking word up in the fucking dictionary. All right? And I'm not talking right now about how fucked up our side and how retarded our side is. We know we have retardation also on our side. This particular form of retardation is pernicious and super, super fucking dangerous. And if you're a conservative and you're listening to this, or you're a libertarian, my testimony is that this is super fucking dangerous to liberty. It might appear that it's not right now, but it is super fucking dangerous to liberty. And if you're libertarian or moderate or purple person or independent or whatever, if you're listening to this, some of you are like that. You also know, I have said over and over again, if you have a left-wing authoritarian regime that wants to use policy and law to choke the fucking liberty out of life so that we all become beige and everybody's treated perfectly equally, this is also bullshit. But we're not talking about that right now. When Christians are like, I just want you to be in the arms of my Lord. That's all I care about. And when successful corporatists are like, I just want you to be successful, right? It is probably they partially mean it for real. They do. They're being earnest about it. And maybe perhaps some people are being fully earnest about it. But the very keys to joining these clubs is that in your subconscious mind, you're a part of this bullshit. You're a part of Bush League conversion theory. You're a part of elitism, because that's what a lot of this is. I'm right, you're wrong. We're in the elite position with God. You're in the lesser position with God. You need to be in the elite position. We're in the elite position with freedom and the free market economy and making money, and you're in the weaker position, and we want you to be a part of that. And so here are these narrow sets of behaviors that you actually have to adhere to, and this narrow set of ways of thinking also. And if you don't adhere to these things, then we're going to punish you or roll over you with the steamroller, hit you with the whip, shame you, ostracize you, whatever it is. Bush League conversion theory. It's what they run on. I would start the argument that if you are a conservative, an actual conservative, and an actual Christian, that you would be able to recognize bullshit conversion theory and you wouldn't involve yourself in it. Particularly if you ever use terms like liberty, because you don't really ever hear Christians and conservatives, pseudo or otherwise, saying things like free thought. You don't ever hear that. That's not a part of what they're doing. Actually, free thought is more like, doesn't work very well for a religion or corporatism. Both can be horseshit phenomena. I will never say religion is entirely a horseshit phenomenon. I would never say that. That question and seeking out that answer is a good thing. So pseudo-conservatism, Bush League conversion theory. Will pseudo-conservatives and pseudo-Christians involve themselves in any kind of mechanism that involves projectiles in order to accomplish their mission, or in order to help them for conversion, the mission or conversion? Look at history. I recently had a conversation with my homie, Professor David Yamani, where we talked about all of the sudden David is saying things that are a little bit more political, and everybody in the gun realm is like, oh, wait a minute, we thought you were the cool liberal, man. Why are you talking about gay people and talking against Trump? He's good for the guns or whatever. Like they thought David was going to be a liberal, but not a liberal, and what I don't know what they thought he was going to be. But here's what I know is there are a whole lot of people in the gun culture that have been really had open arms towards us. But again, for many of those people, what's behind that? What's in the warehouse, man? What's the thing they're doing on purpose without doing it on purpose? What do they got going? What they got going is Bush League conversion theory. and they got a mission. And the storefront is, we're so glad you're involved in 2A. This is so great for guns that liberals are getting into it. But what's really behind it is, now that these fucking jabronis see the light about the Second Amendment, it's only a matter of time that they see that everything else they believe is wrong too. And we're right, because we're in the light. We're in the light of liberty, and we're in the light of Jesus, and we're in the light of God, and we're in the light of George Washington, and we're in the light of America, and we're in the light, and they're in the dark. And it's only a matter of time till they stop being liberal, and they see we're right, and they're wrong completely on all the other issues too. That fucking thing I just did there, that is in the mind of most all righteous people, right and left, that kind of righteousness. But we're not talking about the left today. I put the fucking screws to our own side a lot, and I'm going to start putting the fucking screws to the right. So, this is in the mind of a lot of people. Mission, Bush League conversion theory, pseudo-conservatism, pseudo-Christianity, pseudo-light. A lot of that, like, man, we're so happy that you guys are doing this. Some of it's genuine. Right on. Like it. I know who, you can tell who's genuine and who's the fucking person that's running the mission, the fucking mission and this Bush League conversion theory. In any event, these are the things that you need to think about. But now that we're here, I want to reiterate, there is a difference, and you're going to be blinded to it. There's a difference between an actual conservative and a pseudo-conservative. And there is a difference between an actual Christian and a pseudo-Christian. And while your tribal brain might want to be like, do all kinds of absolutist things, I assure you that the most effective thing that can happen for improvement is that actual conservatives push back against what starts, to me, what is rooted in the most egregious event of pseudo-conservatism that has happened in my lifetime. January 6th, and what has happened around that relative to the behaviors of both conservative electorate and the conservative party. It is the most egregious form of anti-American, anti-liberty bullshit. It is in the conservative nest, and they are sitting on those eggs still. And one of the best chances that you have for the social coercion game isn't guns. Is there a threat there? Fascistic, authoritarian, totalitarian. Duh. Sure. Of course there is. You fucking kidding me? Do you want to be in on the game? What part is guns and what part is not guns? Because it's way more not guns than it is guns. This is the jujitsu, man. Don't wait on it. Don't prey on it. Keep an eye on it. And be ready to have conversations. Be reasonable. Speak the truth. There are real conservatives and real Christians out there that are in the battle in their hearts. The very best countervailing force against a lot of this would come from the inside of the conservative reality, not from us. If you don't have people in your life like this, what have you been doing? If you don't have people that you're like, I think I know a few people like that after a while you could have a conversation with, because these people exist. If all you do is look at the news and go, fuck those fucking, and the sky is falling, and you're nihilistic, and you stay in the primitive brain, and you overreact, and you don't get involved in the 4D chess. Sorry, I had to say it. You don't get involved in the advanced chess, then things won't change. You cannot be a tribal liberal and be a liberal. You can't be a tribalist person, all or nothing, us versus them, doom scroll the news, and find the power of the liberal mind. You can't. It's in the chess. Yes, I feel it too. Yes, I see it. Yes, I feel the fire. I feel the fight. I see the visions of the violence. All of those deep primal Homo sapien things. But that's not the game that we're in. Think about January 6th. Think about how anti-conservative that whole phenomenon is. How against the terms that conservatives use. Think about it in terms of liberty. Think about it in terms of governmental overreach. Think about it in terms of the sacredness of America. What you would imagine that is. The founders. Because January 6th is not patriotism. And January 6th is not what we fought the Revolutionary War for. And January 6th is about as far away from the founding spirit as it gets. And a lot of Christians know that. And a lot of conservatives know that. And they're conflicted. And this is why you cannot be a fucking tribal all or nothing. Now, so many of you have said to me, you just can't get through to any of them. But that's bullshit. You can't get through to the fucking pseudos. This is why you need to caucus and build relationships with people who are not pseudos. Slow chess, marathon, one day at a time. Pseudo-conservatism, pseudo-Christianity. Actual conservatism, actual Christianity. Bush League conversion theory and its dynamic, the psychological reality of it. And you cannot be an absolutist, primally driven, tribal liberal and win this and help this to get to the better place. You can't. This is just one example today, but you can't. You won't. And by the way, the internet is like the worst fucking place for you to be. If you're somebody who is perseverating in this tribal, absolutist, limited, left of center thought. More to come.